You're listening to the Murder Speaks podcast, the show that spills the tea about true crime. Here's your host, Wendy Hinbest.
Hey, welcome back to Murder Speaks. Hope everyone had a great week. So, I'm changing up my format a little bit. I know I haven't posted in a little while. I'm very sorry about those of you who listen to my podcast. Just life, been busy, stuff like that. But I'm back, and I'm changing things around. My husband, Brent, is joining me. Say hello, Brent.
Hey, buddy.
And we're changing things around a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm still going to tell you guys about, my true crime story. However, my husband is going to hear it for the first time as well.
Just like the audience?
Yep. He does not know anything about what I'm telling you guys. He's going to ask questions. He's going to hear about it for the first time. We're going to get his real reaction. And, yeah, we're going to, communicate. So it's different. We're changing it up. So I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, so I'll be kind of serving as a proxy for the audience, like hearing it for the first time. The questions that I have will be hopefully somewhat similar to the questions you guys have, and it helps to fill in the story and just kind of keep it moving, but also like filling in questions that you guys might be thinking about as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And before I get started, I just want to mention that I do have a Patreon. I do have a Patreon for Murder Speaks as well, and
Murder Speaks?
I have two Patreons. I have a Patreon for Murder Speaks, and I have a Patreon for my. Both of you, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but I also do ASMR. So I do have a Patreon for my Murder Speaks, and I'll put the link in the show notes. However, I also do. I have a YouTube channel where I do ASMR. I like it. I enjoy it. It relaxes me, and I have a lot of fun doing those videos. So I do have a YouTube channel that I do that as well, and I will also link that down below.
So those of you that also like ASMR, you can go check out her ASMR channel on YouTube, see if you like it, and then she's also got the Patreon, so you can go get extra content.
Exactly. Thank you. And I will link both of them. I'll link my Patreon for Murder Speaks and my Patreon for my ASMR channel and my YouTube channel.
In the notes.
In the show notes, yes. So anyways, without further ado, let's get going on today's true crime story. So today's true crime story is about 17-year-old, I'm not sure if I say this name correctly, Jalajhia Finklea. I think that's how you say it, Jalajhia. So I think that's right. But anyway, 17-year-old Jalajhia Finklea from New Bedford, Massachusetts.
Damn, that's young.
Oh, yeah, she's very young. I always get upset when I do, because my husband and I, we have 5 children. And
one of whom is 16, so she's right around this girl's age.
Yes, and, I love children. So I get really bothered. I actually get upset. My husband can vouch for me. I get angry at the television. Mm-hmm. When I watch a murder show and it's about a kid, I want that person put to death.
You'll see her. She'll be stomping around.
Yes.
She'll get up and start walking around the house. She gets anxious.
I get very angry when a child, when anybody gets murdered. It's horrible. Don't get me wrong. I get upset.
But kids are obviously worse.
But kids are it breaks my heart and I hate it.
Kids are innocent. And
yes, and they haven't had their life. Anyways, sorry, we're getting off track here. So, anyways, it's about 17-year-old Jalajhia Finklea from New Bedford, Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. Now, she was a member of the Mashpee Wampanoag. I'm sorry if I'm saying it's native. Yeah. Mashpee Wampanoag tribe. Those of you who are indigenous, I apologize if I'm not saying that correctly. But anyways, everyone knows it's the kind of tribe that everyone knows each other. Everyone's like family, and apparently they gather every year.
Probably true of most tribes, really. I don't think they're huge. They're not like massive cities. They're like communities.
Exactly.
Support and care about each other. Yeah.
Exactly. They're like a family, right? Yeah. Everyone knows. It's like a small town. Like a small town. I was gonna say that. Almost like a small town.
More intimate because there's much more. Like in a small town, there's various people of different types of cultures and that. Whereas in a tribe, it's people with the same culture, so it's probably even more tightly knit.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. Exactly. And apparently they gather every year and they socialize and everything. Like I said, almost like a family. Now everyone knows your business, of course.
So you're planning to hang out with some friends or go to the gym, and you don't know what to wear, and you're so bored of all of your clothes. This is why Crystal Kiss offers a wicked selection of true crime merch to bring your wardrobe to life. From hoodies, leggings, and t-shirts to joggers, crop tops, and tank tops, Crystal Kiss has you covered. Make a fashion statement with Crystal Kiss. Check out crystalkiss.com today.
Now, Jalajhia lived with her mom and her younger brother. Unfortunately, she was at the time 5 months pregnant. Now, I have no idea who the father was. They don't mention it in the show, and I've researched it online.
It never gets mentioned in the show?
It doesn't get mentioned in the show who the father was.
Or anything ever in the case?
No, I mean, she did have a boyfriend. I'll get to that, but they don't.
Wait, so her boyfriend wasn't the same person that fathered her baby?
I don't know. They never mentioned it in the show. They don't mention anything about the baby father, about the baby. And
Okay.
I researched it online, and they didn't have. There was nothing. So I don't know who the father of the child was, but unfortunately, she was. So it wasn't just her that died. Unfortunately, her unborn was killed as well. Very sad. Now, her father passed away when she was 13 years old. Jalajhia was described as very happy and outgoing. And she was interested in...
How did her dad pass away? Did it say that?
Didn't even say how he passed away.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, I researched. I couldn't find any information on her father. She was interested in nursing and cosmetology. And she was interested in music. Apparently, she could sing. She would sing and she would rap. Actually, it wasn't actually that bad. But when I was watching the show, they had clips of her doing that, and she wasn't that bad. Like, she was okay. Like, I mean, she wasn't like no.
Not like.
She wasn't like.
She's also 17.
Like, yeah, she was 17 years old. Like, but she was pretty good. Considering for her age and everything. She loved to rap and she like write poetry. And, she was a normal 17-year-old, loved her phone. Like, we know that. We have kids who we have,
Not just
goodness,
phones.
we have a 10-year-old who loves their phone.
Any form of electronic with Wi-Fi that has social media on it.
Exactly. Our 11-year-old attached to her, 12-year-old attached to her phone. Like, we get it, you know how it is. So anyways, and her family, her and her family were very, very close. Now, she disappeared on October 20th, the day before her 18th birthday. The day before. Yep. She was at home after a doctor's appointment. And her mother was at the pharmacy picking up a prescription for her. And she was texting Jalajhia the whole time that she was out. Like, so it's like, it's almost crazy how from the time she was at the pharmacy and they were texting to when she got home and she was just gone. It was just bizarre.
So Jalajhia was home that whole day, or she had just gotten back from a doctor's appointment? Or she had a doctor's appointment the day before? I didn't catch that part.
I think she went to a doctor's appointment and then she came home after the doctor's appointment.
Okay, the same day. And then
same day.
When she got back, her mom was at the pharmacy.
Yeah, getting up a prescription for her. Yeah. So while Jalajhia was at home after her appointment and her mom went to the pharmacy, they were texting each other, right? And then so it's weird. So then when her mother got home, Jalajhia wasn't there.
Right. Okay. So we're not talking about a long time. We're talking about like
no, maybe 15
probably.
minutes, roughly. It's like such a short window. Okay. Her mother checked her bedroom and she wasn't there. Sent her several text messages and she never answered, which is bizarre because apparently Jalajhia was always by her phone.
Well, we even get that with our kids sometimes. Like Ashley, who's like the little text body. Like sometimes we'll send her text and she won't get it.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if she has an iPhone or not. Like, we'll do the Find My thing to see if we can get their attention. So I'm not sure if that was. I imagine she was probably doing everything she could like that too.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway.
I don't think it mentioned if she had an iPhone or not. I think it just said her phone.
Because if you can't get a hold of them for like half an hour to an hour, that doesn't necessarily drive you crazy. Once it's been over an hour and they're not responding to like all your Find My alerts and all that, that's when you start to get really concerned.
Well, that's you. Me, I get worried anyways. I'm more worrisome than my husband is. I get stressed and I get anxious and everything. So if I don't hear from my kids for 5 minutes, I'm like wondering, where are they? I'm on Find My looking for them. And
oh, yeah. I'm saying, if you send them a text and then you wait like 10 minutes and they don't get a response, you start sending Find My. I'm saying if they don't start responding like shortly after that, that's when you start getting concerned.
So I'll start stressing out. Like, where are they? So her mother thought she just went out because her mother sent her several text messages. She didn't respond. She thought, okay, she probably went out with her friend or something. Normal 17-year-old would do. And she had a boyfriend, like I mentioned earlier. Her boyfriend's name was Mario. And her mother thought maybe she was with him.
Is he a member of the same tribe? Or is he...
they don't mention him? I don't really know.
I'm asking
they mention
Mario
him, but they don't...
sounds like an Italian name. So
it does sound...
If it's somebody in the community or if it's somebody outside the community. But anyway.
Yeah, they don't mention if he was in a tribe or not. I'm guessing by the name, maybe he wasn't, like you said. But we don't know. But anyways, she didn't respond the entire day. Like it got to the point the entire day. Like, you know me.
Yeah, you'd be freaking out.
So if we didn't hear from our kids for the entire day, we'd be like freaking out.
Yeah.
Like I'd be pulling out my hair for real. So her mother checked with their family members and to see if they've even heard from her, and none of them heard from her either. And so her mother called her, and then her mother waited until the next day because she was trying to reach her the whole day, couldn't, contacted her family members. They haven't heard from her. She waited until the next day, and now her phone was going straight to voicemail. And she was like freaking out, obviously.
Meaning that it's probably the phone itself is dead.
And maybe it's dead. Well, she didn't know whether she turned it off or it was dead.
Well, either way,
right?
I'm saying like now the ability to track it becomes difficult if
yes,
it's dead.
because if it's dead, you can't use Find My, right? It only
Or
works
whatever.
when the phone's
I don't know if they have
active,
Android,
or whatever.
but yeah, I'm sure Android has something similar to that.
And then apparently she wasn't on social media, which is really bizarre for Jalajhia, because she was always on social media, like Instagram and everything. So that was weird. Earlier on October 20th, which was the day she went missing, she had a 2-day medical procedure at Boston Clinic. They never really went into what the procedure was. She was 5 months pregnant. Yeah, they don't really go into what that 2-day procedure was. They just mentioned that she had some sort of a procedure she had to do at the doctor's.
I'm confused. So on October 20th, which is the day she went missing, she had to do a 2-day procedure
at the doctor, day? which is why she was at the doctor in the first place. Remember, she came back from the doctor's appointment.
Oh, so she was doing part of the procedure on one day and part of the procedure on a second day?
That's how I read it, because this is the information I found online. All of my references for this story will be linked in the show notes, but this is where I found one of the references I found said that she was, the day she went missing, she was at a 2-day medical procedure.
Okay.
I guess she did the
but
first part.
It's not like a 48-hour contiguous one. It's like part on one day, part on another
yes.
day. Otherwise, she wouldn't be home. So.
Yes. So she was at the doctor earlier that day. And apparently the next day, which was her birthday, is when she missed the second appointment.
Right.
And so that's when her mother started freaking out, because Jalajhia would not have missed that medical appointment.
Right.
So that's when her mother contacted the police. Her mother called the police, and they assumed that she was a runaway. So I don't know why police always assume that. I guess because she's 17. Oh, kids run away all the time. But her mother knew her. She wouldn't have run away. Especially she's 5 months pregnant. Why would she run away? Like, she wouldn't run away.
Yeah, and the police that she contacted, I don't know if you got this information either, but like, was it like a tribal police force? Or was
I was going to get to that. So the New Bedford police took the case, but the tribal police was there to help. So tribal police only takes cases that takes place on the reservations. So because this did not take place on the reservation, it was handed over to the New Bedford police.
All we know is that she's missing. So I guess they're saying that the tribal police are saying that if she's not on the reserve, there's nothing they can do. So then the New Bedford police
took it, because the case didn't take place on the reservation. That's what it says. That's what they said.
We don't know where it took place yet.
So
all we know is that she's missing from the house and in theory not on the reservation.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing that's why they have to contact the outside police.
Yeah.
But they're
still there to help. Like, they're still going to be there to support and everything, right? Because,
I'm saying, but now from the tribe's perspective, it's now been handed off to another police force that they don't necessarily trust because of historical, racial reasons and all this and that. And I know there's a lot of cases where Native women go missing, and there's a lot of reasons for it. Like sometimes people they leave. Like sometimes there's a lot of drug and alcohol issues.
Yeah.
So people will go for that, and I know that there's a lot of other issues. I won't get into them all because it's not relevant. But I know the police have historically not taken the claims of somebody going missing very seriously because they think that they've just taken off to go do something. And so what you get with that is a lot of girls that go missing get into trouble, like being murdered or whatever. That like you've seen the show, The First 48. Like the first 2 or 3 days of somebody going missing are the most critical about finding them alive or even just finding evidence at all. So like if the police are like acting like, oh, she's just a runaway, we'll look at it, after X number of time has passed, then that time that's passed, like, is critical. That's when all the critical clues are that they might be missing because they can get washed away by rain. That's a big one with tire tracks and stuff like that. But then also but then the odds of finding her, because say it's somebody that's kidnapped her or raped her and then eventually kill her, it's like those minutes are critical because once that person's done doing whatever it is that they're doing and they want to kill the person, those. It's 1 second she's alive and 1 second you're dead.
Exactly.
So if the police find you 5 minutes before, it makes all the difference.
It can make a huge amount of difference.
Obviously. So that's a big issue. And so that's probably, I can imagine the stress the mother's under contacting
oh my God, I'll be so stressed out.
An American police force and being like, I hope they take this seriously. Because my daughter's missing. I know what kind of person she's in, but they're going to make assumptions about her.
Yes, I'll be infuriated.
They might not take it that seriously.
I'd be infuriated at that point.
It's scary. It's scary enough, let alone when you're then also having to deal with kind of complex racial issues being mixed in with it.
Exactly. No, totally. So apparently what happened was, so like I said, the New Bedford police took the case. On October 22nd, the day after her birthday, the New Bedford police viewed the video surveillance from a convenience store that was close to her house. and they saw her.
Okay, so they were taking it seriously.
So they were taking it seriously, yeah. So what happened was...
We don't know how long it took them to take it seriously, but at least they're taking it seriously.
Yeah, they were actually starting... Yes, they were actually trying to do something about it. So it looks like Jalajhia left home around 5:21 p.m.
Oh, they saw her on the footage of the
on the surveillance, yeah. And she was wearing light clothing. She was wearing slippers. Like, she didn't look like she wanted to go anywhere. Like, so she was
probably just going down to get like a snack
to get something. Yeah. She didn't have any bags or anything. So she didn't look like she was planning on staying out even long.
But yeah, she doesn't have like clothing or anything that she'd be missing for days. Like if you knew you were going to go to a friend's house for days, you'd bring clothing with you.
Exactly.
A bag with clothing and stuff. Right?
So they saw her getting into a car, and she was sitting in the car arguing with somebody for 20 minutes. So the car was parked outside her house. They saw her with the slippers on, no bag.
Does this convenience store have a camera pointing at her house?
I guess it's close by. It must be close by.
So the car she got into was at her house, not at the convenience store.
No. It looked like it was by her house.
Okay.
I mean, they don't.
So in theory, we at this point we're thinking this could either be the guy that got her pregnant or her boyfriend. That'd be a good guess.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say right now, obviously, but right. You know. I'll get there. But it looked like she got into the car. She was arguing with somebody for like 20 minutes. And her mother didn't recognize the vehicle that she got into either.
Right.
And her mother wasn't aware that she had problems with anybody. So she's like, who could she be arguing with? So the police ran the license plate number. And they found out it was a car that was rented from the Boston airport. It was a rental car from the Boston airport,
so potentially somebody has flown into Boston and rented a car and driven out there. So this could be somebody from at this point now, almost anywhere in the world if it's an airport.
So apparently it was rented.
They should be able to go back to the rental company and get the name of the person. So I guess that's what you're going to say next.
That's what I'm going to say next. It was rented by 37-year-old Louis Barbos.
Louis Barbos?
Louis Barbos, yes. He was a family friend.
Okay.
Yes. Apparently he knew Jalajhia since she was 8 years old, which makes this even more disturbing. So Jalajhhia's mother used to rent an apartment with him, and they were like roommates. So he was like a family friend.
So they weren't dating?
They weren't dating.
They were roommates?
They were roommates, and he's known Jalajhia since she was a little kid.
Or
No. No, not in Boston. He rented the car at Boston Airport.
No.
But
the mother and this guy rented an apartment somewhere.
But they didn't say where.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he flew into Boston. I'm assuming it's like, it's probably not even in Massachusetts somewhere. Anyway.
Yeah. No, we don't know where they rented it. It's just kind of,
afterwards.
They just rented an apartment together.
Okay, that's right.
But apparently Louis was cut off from the family after he got into a car accident with Jalajhia and other young kids in the car. So I guess he had a tendency to hang out with young girls.
He was cut off from the family not because of a car accident.
Well, he was in a car with Jalajhia and a bunch of other young girls, and he got into a car accident. And I guess from what I'm getting from watching this episode and from what the research I've done, it looks like he has a tendency to hang out with young girls.
Right.
And
that's probably the reason.
Maybe that's why he got cut off.
Yeah, maybe
from them.
After the car accident, there must have been something ahead of time where they wanted him to avoid something or stop doing something or whatever. And when he was in that car accident, they're like, you're with all these young girls, like you're doing the same, whatever it was that you were doing before. So I'm saying he wasn't cut off because of the car accident.
It was a pattern.
Like they saw him with all those girls in the car, and that set off red flags, or it was like breach of some type of agreement that they'd made with him.
Yeah.
And so now they're like, we're done with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not because of the car accident.
It was from what I remember from watching this show, I don't think Jalajhia was the only one. I think there was other girls that he was like talking to or trying to pursue.
Right, so we're looking at a potential pedophile or maybe a hebephile, but like a hebephile or a pedophile here on this.
Yeah.
It seems like.
We don't know for
sure. Don't
sure.
to conclusions.
No conclusions. This is just what evidence, the research that I've done and from watching the show and everything. He went to Florida. Apparently he went to Florida, and Jalajhhia's mother hasn't seen him in years. So after he was cut off from the family, he went to Florida, and no one's seen him in a long, long, long time.
Yeah, except maybe Jalajhia, who seems like, because they're arguing, seems like they may be in contact. And then you start to wonder, if you don't know who the father is, you start jumping to conclusions like, this guy seems to like young girls, don't know who the father is.
And they don't mention it. They don't mention the father at all.
Well, because they don't have any evidence, maybe.
She didn't know, but the mother...
Do you think that they could take, after she passed, if they did a blood test on her and the baby, that they would be able to actually figure that out? But
yeah,
whatever. They didn't.
Jalajhia, the mother didn't know that she was even talking to Louis. The mother had no clue that they were even communicating with each other.
He probably wants her to keep it a secret. That's why like those predators work, is that they make contact with you and they want to create separation between you and your family. So they want you to start keeping secrets and start to create distance so they can pull you away into like whatever whatever
bizarre, sick
thing they want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the day Jalajhia vanished, Lewis texted her because he wanted to give her money for her birthday. He said, I want to give you money for your birthday. And she didn't want to go by herself. Like, she was like...
So that's how he lured her.
Yeah, that's how he lured her. So she was, like, she felt uneasy. She didn't even want to go by herself. Like, she felt very uncomfortable being alone with him.
How do you know this?
Well, it was in the show.
But was it in text? Because, like, she got in the car and was arguing with him, so she wasn't, like, that scared. But was it in the text, like, her saying, like, I don't really want to meet up with you or something?
Maybe, I mean, it could have been in a text that she sent, because it did say that apparently she did text a friend to come because she didn't want to go by herself, and she texted a friend to come along. So maybe all we know, maybe when she texted that friend,
it could be the contextual clue of, like, if she's telling a friend that she wants them to come with them, they're drawing the
conclusion that she didn't feel comfortable being alone with him because she's asking a friend to go with her, right?
Okay, all right.
But unfortunately, that friend could not make it.
Right.
And I guess she wanted the money. So, and I guess she felt obligated to go because he's been a family friend for so long. So she decided...
Kind of family friend.
So she decided to go alone.
Yeah.
If you're looking for true crime merch with a great fit and feel, look no further. Crystal Kiss has a wide selection of clothes to brighten up your wardrobe. I like to wear clothes that make a fashion statement and says something about me. Like, our true crime and chocolate design describes me very well. I love chocolate and I love watching true crime, so they go hand in hand. Our hoodies are so soft and can be paired with one of our true crime joggers to make a super comfy outfit. Our true crime t-shirts fits true to size. For a night out, throw on a pair of heels and a crop top. Whatever you're doing, Crystal Kiss has you covered. You people in the US, get free shipping. You can also use discount code MURDER15, that's MURDER15, and save 15% off your entire order. Check out our wicked selection of true crime merch today at crystalkiss.com.
So there were search parties, and it was all over the news and social media that Jalajhia Funk gone missing. All they have is that she got in the rental car, with her family, a 37-year-old Louis Barboza, who's a family friend.
And the car left with her in it?
Left with her in it.
So they saw that on the footage?
Yeah, and so they saw the car, like, I guess they saw the car driving off.
And then, so they knew which direction roughly it went in.
So they saw her leaving with him. But before she left, though, they were arguing.
Right.
They were arguing in the car before she drove off, right? I don't even think she planned on leaving because she wasn't, like I said, she wasn't Clipper. She wasn't planning on going anywhere.
What she was arguing about. I mean,
she wasn't planning on going anywhere.
I'm assuming what they were arguing about was that he wanted to go somewhere and she didn't want to go.
Yeah. And he probably just said, screw this, he just took off without her really consent, probably, right?
Or who knows? Or maybe he offered her money if she went somewhere.
Or
maybe he told her the money was somewhere else and he was taking her to get it or something. Who knows what she would... I guess we'll never know what they were talking about.
No, apparently there were search parties and everything,
yeah.
and people were calling her mother, claiming to be Jalajhia. There's still people out there.
No,
they were calling to be Jalajhia and asking for ransom and Amazon cards. I'm like, what kind of person would do something like that? Like, this woman's devastated that her 17-year-old's missing, and you're pretending to be her to get money and Amazon cards. Like, what kind of person are you?
Yeah, there's all kinds of garbage people out there. It's disgusting.
Like sick and twisted people.
Hopefully the police track those people down too.
Yeah,
don't even arrest them. Just walk up and just clunk them in the head with the butt of their gun.
Yeah, like idiots. So the police were tracking Louis, but Louis turned his cell phone off right after Jalajhia got in the car. So I think he had intent.
So he knew he was.
He knew what he was going to do, because as soon as she got in the car, he turned off his phone so they wouldn't be able to track him. Yeah. Exactly, right? And now the rental car was due back on October 20th, but Louis never returned the rental car.
Was that the next day?
The next day.
Yeah, I thought she went missing on the 20th.
No, the 20th. Yeah, the rental car was due back the day she went missing, but he never returned it.
Right. Okay.
Right. So authorities.
I don't know if you're going to come to this or not, but did he fly in that day?
They didn't mention it.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if he flew in that day and then did this and then...
They didn't mention any of the details about...
Or...
Yeah, they didn't mention that. I have no idea. That's up for speculation. We have no idea.
Yeah.
Right? Authorities track Louis down using his cell phone information, which we see a lot in these murder shows. That's how they catch you, right? And license plate readers. After Louis picked up Jalajhia, he headed out of New Bedford. Then the car was spotted at a highway rest stop in New Jersey. The next day, he drove to New York City.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's just south of Massachusetts, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. The next day, he drove to New York City, where his car was picked up in the Lincoln Tunnel. I think we were there, the Lincoln Tunnel, when we drove to New York City.
Yeah, I think we went through the Lincoln Tunnel goes under the...
Is it that big, long tunnel with all the lights? I think we went through there once.
I believe it goes under the... It's like the George Washington we went in last time, which goes, like, it's the bridge that goes into, like, kind of like the northish end of Manhattan. I think the Lincoln Tunnel is also from Jersey, but it goes under the Hudson River and it comes up into Manhattan. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's where they went. So the car was picked up in the Lincoln Tunnel.
Right. So like a license plate reader probably caught it, or an image of some type caught it at the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yes.
So he was going into New York City, most likely, or in Manhattan.
No, 2 days after Jalajhia vanished, his phone pinged in South Carolina. 2 days after she went missing.
Okay.
His phone, I know, it's a wild jump.
That's not a wild jump. It's all down the East Coast. So basically left Massachusetts, which is like New England area, Boston, and then came down into Jersey, which is just south of that, and then into New York. And then South Carolina is just further south down. I think it's before Virginia, and obviously it's before you get to Georgia and Atlanta. So he's just making his way down the eastern seaboard.
Yeah. Now, apparently, human trafficking is a big concern in a native country. The murder rate of indigenous women... This goes back to what you were saying earlier.
You said native country. Do you mean like in a native tribe? Like, pulled away from their families, addicted to drugs, and then trafficked to like some other place in the States or maybe another country to be basically forced to work as sex slaves.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, that the murder rate... of indigenous women on some reservations exceeds 10 times the national average. Some women go missing and are never found. Yeah. This is basically what you were talking about earlier.
The problem is there's not a lot of opportunities on a reserve, right? It's not like there's like huge companies and business opportunities. So a lot of times people they'll leave the reserve to go look for opportunities elsewhere, and then so it creates a lot. These reserves create a lot of problems because you're like, okay, if you're young and you're growing up and you want to have a life, then you kind of like. You almost need to leave the reserve to like go find other job opportunities. But then you're separated from your people in your community, and you're also in a broader society now, where not that people themselves are racist, but the history of people, the way natives have been treated. There's, I guess they call it like systemic racism. But anyways, you're if you think about it, it's like you have to leave your community behind. Go out into a world that doesn't take you going missing as seriously as, say, a white girl going missing. And, and traffickers know this. Like, they know all this kind of stuff, right? So they're targeting certain types of people, especially runaways. Like, it's not always about race. But, like, if you see, like, bus stops, like, you'll see, like, girls at bus stops and train stops that are, like, runaways, right? You can tell, probably. They probably have, like, there's probably a certain atmosphere that they're putting on or vibe. Like you see somebody that looks like they're confused, upset, and then you go like act like their friend, and then offer them something to, like, oh, this will help make you feel better. You can see how that kind of thing plays out. And then, a lot of times I get them hooked on like hardcore drugs like heroin and stuff like that, so that they can't really escape because they're so addicted. They need that next fix.
Yes.
So they stay, but they're still a slave, even if they're somewhat making a choice to stay, because it's not really a choice. He's been pinged in South Carolina.
Okay.
And you said they're starting to get worried about human trafficking.
Mm-hmm. And on October the 24th, Lewis was caught on surveillance in Houston, Texas, traveling eastbound.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was all over the damn place.
So he's into Texas in eastbound. Okay.
Now, Jalajhjia's cell phone was found at Route 140 in New Bedford. The phone was dumped there 8 minutes after Jalajhia left her house.
Okay, so he threw it out the window.
And her phone was locked, so the investigators couldn't get into it at first. They searched the area, but there was no sign of her. Lewis was posting stuff on social media, pictures of him with Jalajhia, I guess trying to throw the police off, thinking, oh, she's fine, she's alive and well. But the police...
Like in these different places?
Yeah, because I guess he was showing pictures of him with her, yeah. Well, he tried to claim that there were pictures of her, but they were old posts. They weren't current. They were like old posts.
Oh, so he's giving like old pictures and reposting them as if they were brand new.
As if they were brand new, yeah, from what they said, right? And the police searched Lewis's phone records and discovered that he contacted about 3 different gun dealers in Florida before he picked up Jalajhia. So he had all planned out. Like, obviously he had it planned out to do something harmful to her, right? Now, the police reached out to Lewis's mother, who hasn't heard from him in a week. And she tells the police that Lewis has attempted suicide in the past. So he wasn't all bent. I guess he had mental problems.
Okay.
Now, on November 5th, 2020, an arrest warrant was issued for Lewis for kidnapping and possession of a stolen car because he didn't return the car back to the airport, the Boston airport. The police continued to track him, and he was spotted at McDonald's in Crestview, Florida.
God damn, he really was getting around.
Yes. When the authorities approached Lewis, he shot at them.
Oh.
And then he shot himself.
Okay.
Yes.
So he did it.
Yeah.
So now the question becomes like, where is her body? I guess almost at this point.
So
I mean, the mother's probably still holding out hope because how could you not? But I think at that point when that guy's shooting at the police, you kind of realize like this is a guy that feels like he's lost everything. He's got nothing to lose.
he's surrounded. He's back in a corner.
Yeah. So if he's got nothing to lose and he's willing to shoot at police, then you're like, okay, he's killed this
He's
girl.
guilty. Otherwise, why would you shoot the police? Why would you run? Why would you shoot yourself?
Yeah.
Right. So at that moment, the police realized that Jalajhia wasn't in the car because they thought maybe he was with her and she wasn't there. So authorities were able to extract information from Lewis's cell phone, which is what we see a lot on the shows that we watch.
Look for places that he was at for. Especially places in the woods and stuff that he may have tried to bury her body maybe or something.
Yeah. Lewis claimed to be in love. Now, apparently, he claimed to be in love with Jalajhia since 2019.
Right.
He bought her gifts, sent her money.
And she was 16 turning 17 or 17 turning 18?
Well, she was 17 turning 18.
And he's how old?
He's 37.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sick bastard. Apparently, he was doing the same thing with other girls in Jalajhjia's family.
Of course.
Yes.
That's the way they work.
Yes. A forensic analysis of the car revealed blood inside the car that didn't belong to Lewis on the passenger side door and floor.
Okay.
And there was also blood in the trunk.
All right. So he possibly killed her or maybe just hit her and knocked her out. That's why there's traces of blood. We don't know. Otherwise, we don't know how much blood there was. But he must have done something to her in the passenger seat, incapacitated her, and then threw her in the trunk.
Yep, we'll get to that. Yeah. Find out what they did. So they found counterfeit $100 bills. So I guess when he loaded her with money, it probably wasn't real money. He probably will.
All the stuff he's buying.
I have money for you on counterfeit money. Yeah.
As long as people aren't checking it.
So they found counterfeit $100 bills, a shovel, and blood-soaked clothes Lewis was wearing the day he took Jalajhia. So
because they know that from the footage.
Yeah. Well, they searched the car. This is what they found in his car. Right?
I was saying from the convenience store footage, they probably saw what he was wearing.
They saw what he was wearing. Yeah. Right.
And it was covered in blood.
And it was soaked in blood. So the police reviewed Lewis's messages and discovered he texted,
"I'm sorry, I love you,"
to Jalajhia the morning after she vanished. So the way I'm reading that is he wrote this to her, texted her the day after
it's been done.
So he probably killed her and felt guilty about it. Yeah. And he's writing sorry, I love you to her. He also did an internet search.
Does fire destroy blood, DNA?
8 days after abducting Jalajhia. On November 25th, a forensic analysis of the cell phone revealed a typed note 6 days after he abducted Jalajhia, talking about his depression. And he talked about how when Jalajhia was in his car on Coggeshall Street in New Bedford, he snapped. So he's basically saying that he was depressed, and he talks about that how he's basically telling the police how everything happened. And that when he picked her up and something happened, maybe they were arguing in the car. He's writing it to himself.
A note in the car for some
writing to
reason.
his car. But obviously he wanted to be found. Otherwise, why would he write it, right?
Yeah, good question.
He typed that she was gone, so now we know she's dead for sure.
Yeah.
And provided turn-by-turn directions of where her body could be found in Fellsmere, Florida.
Oh, yeah. So it sounds like he was, after it happened, he probably wanted the police to be able to find her family to be able to find her.
Yeah.
And he was just acting erratically, just doing whatever he could, almost like a scared rat running around until the police confronted him. And then he committed suicide by cop, but left behind instructions on where to find her body. At the very least. Yeah.
And this information led to the discovery of her body.
Right.
And they knew it was her because she had a tattoo on her back.
Right.
Her body was burned, and she had 2 bullet wounds to her head. So he probably shot her in the car. Yeah. He probably shot her in the car, which is why there was blood all over the passenger seat. And
okay, so it wasn't like a little blood. It must have been a lot of blood.
And, yeah. So
why didn't he set his car on fire? Setting her on fire, destroying her DNA doesn't matter on her, because you still know it's a human body, but, the DNA that you would think you would want to get rid of be the DNA in the car.
Yeah. It's it's a very sad story. I mean, this is someone that because
it wasn't just her that died; it was also the baby inside of her.
It was the baby that died, but it was someone that she trusted. she didn't really. I guess she didn't really trust him.
Somebody that she knew.
She felt weird about it, but still, someone that he's known her since she was a kid.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think someone like that could. But they always say that it's usually people who know you the ones that kill you.
Yeah.
Most of the time, people who know you. It's not someone that's not a stranger.
90% of the time, but I know it's the vast majority of the time.
The vast majority of people who know
strangers don't just go around killing people.
No.
You get the odd thing a school shooting isn't really a stranger. Usually it's a student that goes to that school too. But serial killers are kind of few and far between in terms of murders. It's not I think there's something like 30,000 murders in the U.S. a year. I don't know if that's murders, if it's just gun murders, but like that like 30,000 of them, like 25,000 of them are people that know each other very well. Like it's going to be an exceedingly small percentage of people that just kill a stranger for no reason.
Yeah,
it happens, but it's very rare.
Yeah, so it's a sad story. She was a very pretty young girl too. Like her whole life ahead of her. Like it's really sad, and you can't even get justice because he killed himself. So the mother is probably glad that he's gone because he took her daughter. He took her daughter, but I mean, like, it's not really justice.
You don't get any sense of anything.
You don't get any sense of anything.
Like the only thing she's gonna get is the full story of what happened and like some closure from that. But yeah, you don't get that sense of this person did this and now they've been arrested. And
exactly, justice.
And I get
real
to
justice.
Like confront him and
he just
kind of
he
empty,
just killed himself and that's it. I mean, at least he told them where she was.
Like he goes, like it's meaningless because you're like, you killed her and then you killed yourself. What was the point of this? You could have just killed yourself. And saved everybody else.
He should have killed himself first. Yeah. That would save a lot of people a lot of grief. But so that's the story of Jalajhia. And I mean no disrespect to the families. I'm just telling the story. Everything I've said is information that I've researched online and from the show that I watched. Actually, the show that I watched is Text Me When You Get Home. It's season 2, episode 4. So all the information I got was from the show and from sources I found online. So I mean no disrespect to any of the families, and I'm very sorry for your loss. Yes,
sad.
100%. That's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and this is how it's going to be from now on. It's going to be my husband and I are going to be together doing this, and hope you enjoyed it. And once
hope
again,
you found it informative.
Yes, 100%. And like I said, I do have all the sources in my show notes that you can reference. And also, like I said, I mentioned again, I do have a Patreon for my Murder Speaks. If you're interested, I have the link in the show notes. And if you are interested in ASMR, those of you who do enjoy watching ASMR, find it relaxing.
We know there's a Venn diagram.
No, there's a what?
We know there's a Venn diagram here. There's a large percentage of women that like true crime stories, and a large percentage of women that like ASMR. And we know there's a crossover there. So if you're interested in ASMR as well, go check out the YouTube channel. If you like what you see in the YouTube channel, there's more content available on the Patreon channel.
And I also have a store. I know I've mentioned my store before. I've mentioned it many times on this store. I do have a store called Crystal Kiss, where I sell women's murder apparel.
Tell them what my favorite shirt was.
His favorite shirt was Addicted to True Crime. It's pretty cool.
I like the
cool design.
The
It has
graphics
blood.
on it were kind of cool.
Yeah,
looking.
it has like bloody hands.
And our daughter's favorite is the
Start Killing It.
Yeah,
Killing
the L in it is like a knife.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool looking shirt.
Yeah, there's a few of my favorites. I have one that's called Never Cheat on a Woman Addicted to True Crime, which is very true. I wore that out once. I was out somewhere. I don't want to say where because I don't want to tell people exactly where I live, but I was out and about, and a guy came up to me, and he's like, "Oh, I like your shirt." And I'm like, "What did he say?" I think he laughed, and he goes, that's true," or something like that. I'm like, and I agreed with him. Yes, you don't cheat on a woman addicted to true crime. Not a good idea.
She's got thoughts.
But there's a lot of cool designs. I have a lot of cool designs, so check it out, crystalkiss.com.
Not just that, you got hats, you got tights, you got...
No, I don't have tights anymore. I did have tights. I got rid of them.
What am I thinking of? Sweats?
No, I have... So
I don't have a pant.
Okay, so basically I sell T-shirts. I sell unisex T-shirts. So there's a couple of designs that men would like. Only a couple. My clothes are more geared towards women, but I have a couple that they would probably wear. And I have cotton tees, and I have hoodies, and I have hats, and I have a crop top as well.
I swear I saw something about a pant on.
And I have jogging pants. I have joggers. Yeah, I have joggers. So I do have the joggers. I have. There's 2 different designs. There's Start Killing It, and I think the other one is Murder Speaks.
There you go. Go buy an outfit. You get a sweater. You get a T-shirt to put underneath it. You can take the sweater off when it gets hot. Put on your joggers, your hat. The only thing we don't have is shoes yet.
Yeah, that's Who knows what's to come? But I have a lot of cool designs. So if you're interested, please check it out. If you are in the States, there is free shipping. Shipping is covered on us.
and if you're in Canada, the rest of the world, the shipping's pretty cheap anyways.
It's not expensive.
Yeah.
And also, there is discounts. If I do have a discount code, Murder15. If you use Murder15, you do save 15%.
Yeah.
So...
And the shirts are like $21 in the States. The shipping's free on those shirts, so it's not very much money. Like, it's a good quality shirts.
It's a very good quality. I bought them myself because I wanted to make sure that I was selling good quality, and the quality is very good.
Yeah.
I would not sell anything that I couldn't stand behind, and the quality was very good. I was impressed. So
if you buy a shirt, it's $21 plus tax. You're not getting hit with all kinds of extra shipping costs and all that. If you're in the States, if you're international or in Canada, there's a bit more shipping because it has to be shipped further. I think it's $10.
I think it's $10. My husband and I, we went through and did all. Yeah. Organize all that.
But the more items you buy, the cheaper the shipping costs.
Yeah.
So if you buy 2 items or 3 items,
less.
the shipping cost comes down. So
exactly.
Look for some stuff you like, think about it, and maybe buy a couple things so you don't have to come back later and keep on paying the shipping fee.
And for all your men out there, you can buy for your women.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, a lot of women love true crime. I know that for a fact because
Halloween's coming up. What's the perfect gift for Halloween?
Exactly. Then a murder true crime t-shirt
to be able to wear around.
Exactly. On a cute crop top.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, if you're in the southern states, crop top at Halloween up here would be
it'll be too kind of cold. Yeah, it's true. You can put on a hoodie. That's when my hoodies come in handy. Nice hoodies. But anyways, thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.